direct. Live in the fact.
So don't disrespect. The laws don't neglect. Yahweh will make it neck.
Yeah. Oh, Shabbat Shalom, little sisters and brothers, kings and queens, prince and princess. Shabbat Shalom. So let's get straight to it.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait. Let's get straight to it. Our Father's Prayer in the ancient Hebrew. Abinawa, Shaba, Shemayim, Kadash. Select it. Abinawa, Shaba, Shemayim, Kadash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Waf Yanawa, Taba'ah, Ratazah Yanawa, Hayah, Isha, Ba'ah, Ratazah, Ka, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathan Lanawa, Lakam Ka Yawum, Za'ah, Wasalak Lanawa, Kawawaf Yanawa, Kasalak Lanawa, Kawawaf Yanawa, Wala'ah. Habayad Nawa, Ba Nasayawam, Abal, Hawashayad Nawa, Mayan, Kaya Laka, Ha Malak Wath, Waha Alahayam, Waha Tapaf Arafla Awalam, Salah. And in English,
after this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Salah.
Salah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Khan. Okay. Oops. That's what I'm missing. Put that right there. So first and foremost, all praises to Abinawi Yahweh Bahashem, Hamashiach Yahushai. It's your brother Josiah Gabar out of T.H.U.G. He was on the God, aka Thug Camp, and to my left.
Benjamin Monagan.
So today is another Sabbath, Shabbat Shalom. Hope you brothers and sisters is keeping it holy, striving every day for perfecting each and every one of yourselves, of ourselves. Today is another Sabbath, so we're going to continue to go over 2 Samuel. So we at 2 Samuel chapter 19, chapter 20, and then chapter 21. Next week we will finish the book of Samuel, or 2 Samuel. And then 2 weeks from now, because I know a lot of people, brothers and sisters, been inboxing me about the calendar and the dates and so forth. So we will be covering that in 2 weeks. So not the next Sabbath, but the Sabbath after that, to go over the calendar and to explain to brothers and sisters what happened. Why 2 years ago, everybody was celebrating Passover in April, and then last year it all got messed up, where people was celebrating some in March, and then some people were celebrating Passover in April. So we're just going to show what happened, get some edification, and some understanding, so brothers and sisters won't be lost or confused. So let's go, 2 Samuel chapter 19. And we're going to start at verse 1. Let's get it.
And it was told Joab, Behold, the king weepeth and mourneth for Absalom.
So what we covered last week, how Absalom pretty much took his dad's spot of being king over Israel. Instead of David told his servants not to kill his son, but Joab killed him, and so this is King David mourning over his son. Open the door for the brother. So this is King David mourning over his son. Like any other father, even though Absalom was being wicked and a rebellious son, shalom, any father or any parent, when their son died, they're gonna mourn for him. So that's just a normal emotion. So let's read again. 2 Samuel chapter 19, verse 1. Read that.
And it was told Joab, behold, the king weepeth and mourneth for Absalom.
Go ahead.
And the victory that day was turned into mourning unto all the people. For the people heard and say that day how the king was grieved for his son.
Go ahead.
And the people gat them by stealth that day into the city, as people being ashamed steal away when they flee in battle.
So even though Absalom, his son, was being an enemy towards his own father, the whole nation took it as, when people conquer their enemies, they celebrate, they rejoice. But King David didn't rejoice. He mourned, he cried. So read verse 2 and 3 again.
And the victory that day was turned into mourning.
So the victory, instead of celebrating, it was turned to mourning. Go ahead.
Unto all the people. For the people heard say that day how the king was grieved for his son.
So the whole kingdom, because the king was mourning over his son, they, instead of rejoicing, started to moan as well. Go ahead.
And the people gat them by stealth that day into the city, as people being ashamed steal away when they flee in battle.
So instead of being happy, they was ashamed. So the way King David was feeling had the nation of Israel, the guys, the servants that fought for him and protected him, David, instead of rejoicing, they was ashamed. And so just to think about what that would do, they feeling ashamed, they feeling guilty of conquering their king enemy, even though it was his son. There's no respect of person. Wicked is wicked. Continue.
Verse 4. But the king covered his face, and the king cried with a loud voice, O my son Absalom, O my son, O Absalom, my son, my son.
And you see what the type of person David was? Even though David, his son was wicked towards him, just like King Saul was wicked towards David, he still mourned and cried over his son, because he had that type of compassion and love for his people, for his children. Go ahead.
And Joab came into the house of the king and said, Thou hast shamed this day the faces of all thy servants.
So now Joab, he's letting them know, like, man, you put in shame to us. We came out here, we did a good job. We helped you, we fought for you, and you making us feel ashamed. Go ahead.
Which this day have saved thy life, and the lives of thy sons, and of thy daughters, and the lives of thy wives, and the lives of thy concubines.
So he's pretty much letting them know, like, this is a day of rejoicing, not a day of mourning. Like, you making your servants not going to want to support you, not going to want to have your back. Go ahead.
And that thou lovest thine enemies and hatest thy friends. For thou hast declared this day that thou regardest neither princes nor servants. For this day I perceive that if Absalom had lived, and all we had died this day, then it had pleased thee well.
Read verse 6 again.
And that thou lovest thine enemies and hatest thy friends. For thou hast declared this day that thou regardest neither princes nor servants. For this day I perceived that if Absalom had lived, and all we had died this day, then it had pleased thee well.
So they let him know, like, man, the way it seems, David, like, it seems like you would rather prefer us to be dead right now, the way you mourn him, and your son still to be alive, even though he was an enemy. And all of us, it seems like you would want him over us. And we was defending for you and your family and your household. Go ahead.
Now therefore arise, go forth, and speak comfortably unto thy servants. For I swear by the Lord, if thou go not forth, there will not tarry one with thee this night, and that will be worse unto thee than all the evil that befell thee from thy youth until now.
So they let him know, like, man, if you don't go comfort the people, guess what? They're going to leave. They're going to leave. They're not going to support you. They're not going to have your back because you're making them feel ashamed for something that they was doing to protect your behind. So, continue. 2 Samuel chapter 19, verse 8.
Then the king arose and sat in the gate, and they told unto all the people, saying, Behold, the king doth sit in the gate.
So the gate was like, represent the city, can represent the court of the tabernacle, can represent, so pretty much he went where, pretty much to sit back in authority. So let people to know, like, okay, I'm back, I'm good. Go ahead.
And all the people came before the king, for Israel had fled every man to his tent.
So while David was mourning, everybody went back home and mourned. Go ahead.
And all the people were at strife throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, The king saved us out of the hand of our enemies, and he delivered us out of the hand of the Philistines. And now he is fled out of the land for Absalom.
You see that? That's what strife brings. Read that one more time, verse 9.
And all the people were at strife.
So everybody was against each other. While David was going through what he was going through, all Israel was, nation of Israel was at strife with one another. So a lot of division, just like what you see today. You see a lot of confusion. You see a lot of division. You see a lot of scoffers. All this was going on back then. There's nothing new under the sun. Go ahead.
And all the people were at strife throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, The king saved us out of the hand of our enemies, and he delivered us out of the hand of the Philistines. And now he is fled out of the land for Absalom.
So you had these Israelites pretty much talking smack, like he did this and did that, but when it came to his son, he fled. So give me Proverbs chapter 15, verse 18. Let's deal with a little strife, because there's a lot of strife going on amongst Israel. People, to be honest, a lot of times, you brothers and sisters, it'd be mainly you brothers, but sometimes you sisters be out of line too. But mainly it'd be the brothers that be saying foolish stuff. It seem like the sisters be more wise and use more wisdom than you brothers in this truth. Most of the time it's better not to even say nothing. If you strolling out on Facebook, a lot of times, I see stuff I disagree with. But I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to comment on a person's post. Like, that's going to bring strife. That's going to bring, a big argument and so forth. So that's why I don't say much. I don't say nothing. I don't go comment on people. That's what people do. People, I guarantee it, people stay on Facebook all day, every day, strolling down Facebook, trying to see who they can debate with next. Oh, this person say this. Let me debate that person. Okay, let me see if I can find somebody else. Boom. That's not what it's. That's bringing strife, division. That's not of the Father, and we're gonna improve it. So give me Proverbs 15 and 18 real quick. Read that, brother.
A wrathful man stirreth up strife.
A wrathful, not a righteous man. A wrathful, an angry. Go ahead.
But he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife.
You see that? Read that one more time.
A wrathful man stirreth up strife.
So an angry man, a person that's full of wrath, he's always going to be into drama. He's always going to be on everybody's posts, trying to cause strife, division, contention, everything. All the things that have to deal with wickedness, this wrathful, angry, evil man or woman is going to be a part of. He's going to want to do to cause that type of stuff. He's going to want to bring drama to people's life. Because they're miserable. Give me Proverbs 20 and 3.
Proverbs 20 and 3.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of you people it's better not to say nothing than to comment and make yourself look like a fool. That's why a lot of the time, I'd be like, don't delete their posts. Or my wife, we don't delete people's posts to show Israel see how foolish y'all look. So people can say, okay, stay away from that brother or that sister because that person's a fool. And that's what it brings. people jump on your, class just started. People already saying, you're supposed to be teaching the gospel. Didn't the Lord say he comes in the volume of the book? It is written of him. So whatever book we read is about Christ. It's going to be about the Lord. Common sense. So Proverbs chapter 20, the Lord is not just in the gospel. The Lord is all. Christ was there in the beginning in Genesis. So people, why are you just not reading the gospel? We're reading the whole book. He comes in the volume. So give me Proverbs chapter 20 verse 3. That's why it's better to just be quiet than to speak. Because when a lot of people speak, it's just foolishness come out. So Proverbs chapter 20 verse 3. Read that, brother.
It is an honor for a man to cease from strife.
It is an honor for a man to stop with all that strife and division. That's beautiful. It's good for a brother. Say a brother used to be full of strife and anger and all type of wickedness. It's good. It's honorable. It's good. It's righteous when a brother stops that. Go ahead.
It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling.
But every fool will be in all type. Every fool. A fool will be all into everybody's business. Try to meddle and debate and cause confusion into everything. That's what a fool will do. Give me Proverbs chapter 22, verse 10. A fool will be all up into meddling. Oh, I want to argue. I want to fight. They love that type of stuff. And then they think that they're doing the Lord's work. Right. They're being men of God or women of God when they do stuff like that. No, you're being children of Satan. You have to be wise. Use wisdom. So Proverbs 22, what did I say? Verse 10. Read that, brother.
Cast out the scorner.
So if you cast out a scorner, right? Go ahead.
And contention shall go out.
Then all that contention will go out, right?
Yea, strife and reproach shall cease.
So if there was no more scorners and scoffers, everything would stop. You see, but that's why there's so much. Debating and wickedness going on amongst Israel, because you have a bunch of scorners and scoffers in Israel. And that's why, read that part again. Read that verse again.
Cast out the scorners.
So if all the scorners and scoffers be cast out, there will remain no more of them. Go ahead.
And contention shall go out.
And then contention will go out. Go ahead. All that division and all that stuff will go out with those scorners and scoffers. Go ahead.
Yea, strife and reproach shall cease.
Strife and reproach shall cease. Will stop. If all those scorners and scoffers would get cast out. And eventually, guess what? Y'all will get cast out. When the Lord make his second coming and destroy all them scoffers and brothers that's into sedition and contention and envy and jealousy and all that other malice and wickedness, when all that wickedness get cast out, get destroyed, the kingdom to come is not going to be full of none of that. So all of it will cease. All of it will stop. Give me Proverbs chapter 29, verse 22. That's like I said, brother. It says, take advice. It's better not to say nothing than to run your lip and look like a fool. It's better not to say nothing. So Proverbs chapter 29, verse 22, brother.
An angry man stirreth up strife.
What does an angry man do?
An angry man stirreth up strife.
And that's what brothers is full of. They want to debate and they want to cause division and strife all day, every day. They wake up and just, who can I debate today? Who can I make angry today? And they think, oh, let me rebuke the person. If you want to correct or rebuke somebody, there's a way using wisdom how to carry yourself to correct somebody. If a person's going off, there's a way to present or to talk to a person to win a soul. But when you come off a certain way and everybody see your intentions and how you come off, then nobody's going to hearken unto you. Nobody's going to listen unto your words. because you're not using wisdom. If you out on the street and you see a bunch of our people, they don't even know the truth, and you cussing at them and yelling at them and saying you're a bunch of whores and evil and you're a bunch of this and this and that, and you're just pointing the finger, you're not going to win nobody. Nobody's going to want to hurt you. People are going to want to hurt you and not going to want to listen to you. That's what people don't realize. It's better to be at peace and show love towards our people, and our people will respond differently. We see it all the time out there teaching and you know, coming off a certain way with love and showing love to our people responds totally different. But when we used to be out there and you know, and of a brother's teaching and going, you know, ham on our people, whatever, then our people go, you know, our people be ready to fight, calling up people, let's shoot this brother, let's do all this stuff, because of the way you present yourself, the way that you're acting. And then you try to say, see, the Lord said that the men of the Lord will be punished, will be persecuted. No, that's not what that. The righteous man in the Bible was punished for doing righteousness. If you out there teaching and you being wicked and you cussing our people out and stuff, and some guy come knock you aside your head, don't try to blame it on the Lord and say, oh, I'm doing the work, so this is what the Lord, this is what happened to the prophets. Right. No. That's not what happened. They're trying to blame everything, trying to fit with back to the scriptures. See, you see, they got put to death. You see, so you know I got knocked out on camera, so you know I must be one of the men of the Lord. No, it don't work like that. So what scripture did I say? Proverbs 29 and 22. Read that again.
An angry man stirreth up strife.
An angry man stirreth up strife. That's why. So when you see that, brothers and sisters, you have to understand that those brothers and sisters that's doing that. That's stirring up all that, that's just an angry man or woman. That person is unhappy with themselves. And they want to make any and every person they can unhappy just like them. Because they're miserable. So they want you to be miserable. Go ahead.
And a furious man abounded in transgression.
A furious man does what?
Abounded in transgression.
You see that? Because the reason why that person's acting the way they're acting, because they're full of iniquity. They're full of sin. They live in it. They love it. They have pleasure in it. Because if they was men of the Lord or women of the Lord, they wouldn't conduct themselves like that. Yeah. They wouldn't present themselves as, they would present themselves as kings and queens, as royalty, as righteous men or women. They wouldn't present themselves as angry beasts and thinking that they're men of the Lord. No, that's not what the scriptures is talking. That's why we must follow Christ. Christ did not talk like that. Christ did not act like that. There's only a few times when the Lord got out of hand. It was righteous though. People be flipping out and acting crazy for no reason. So give me Isaiah 58 and 4. That's why I had to step back and examine myself to see, okay, who am I really following? Am I following man in this world, or let me read about Christ and see what he was about and how he presented himself. And so that's why a lot of things that we used to do, we stopped doing. Because we understand this word and the true message that it's bringing. And we have a role to play. And we're supposed to carry ourselves like the children of the Most High. How are we acting like that? If you claim to be a child of the Most High God, and you're coming off like a mad, angry man 24/7, you are giving our God a bad reputation. Because they're going to reflect on, whatever we do, it's going to reflect on our God. That's just like what we read, 2 weeks ago? When they was talking about, you know, I forgot how it went, but pretty much they were saying, like, if he does this, it's going to make our God look, it's going to go back on our God. You see? So that's why we have to present and carry ourselves a certain way, so that they're going to be like, okay, I can see the God in that man. He must have a true God. Or his God must be, you know, he got a respectable God because he's presenting himself respectable. So we'll read that, brother. Isaiah 58 and 4.
Behold, ye fast for strife and debate, and to smite with the fist of wickedness.
This is what wicked brothers and sisters are doing. Yeah. When David sinned, you know, committing adultery, he made the Most High ashamed. You know, that's what happened. When David committed adultery, that brought shame on him, but that also looked bad on our God. Because they saying, oh, King David is a man after the Most High's heart. So, if he's a man after the Most High heart and he's committing adultery, what that's going to look on the Lord? That's going to make him look bad to all the other nations round about. So that's why it's better to carry ourselves a certain way so that when everybody else look at us like, man, that person is doing the will of their God. Even if they might not believe in your God, they still going to respect you. Like, man, these people, these are holy people. You see how he's carrying himself? That's how we're supposed to carry ourselves like righteous men and women. So read that, Isaiah 58:4.
Behold, ye fast for strife and debate.
Wait, strife and debate. That's what's going on right now. Israel's full of strife and debating. Go ahead.
And the smite with the fist of wickedness.
Full of wickedness. Go ahead.
Ye shall not fast as ye do this day to make your voice to be heard on high.
And our people thinking they're fasting, they think they're praying, they thinking they're doing it in the name of the Most High. When the Lord's like, I don't know why you're doing this. You ain't doing it for me. You're not fasting and praying and you full of strife and debating and envy and jealousy. What you fasting and praying for? You ain't doing it to me. You might be doing it to my creation, the devil, your father, but not doing it to me. Give me Sirach chapter 19 verse 6. And that's the thing about it, because brothers and sisters people are thinking they're doing the will of the Father by debating all day, every day. Who cares who Esau is? Who cares who the 12 tribes of Israel is and all this other stuff? Because at the end of the day, guess what? The ones that believe this doctrine is going to believe this at the end of the day, and the people that believe their doctrine is going to believe it at the end of the day. Nobody's going to really change their mind. It don't matter how much evidence or how much proof you show it, they're not going to change their mind. So it's no point to debate. It's better off trying to reason with Christians or reason with people that don't really know the truth than to go reason with fellow Israelites that is really just for a show to me. When I look at it, it's just like for a show. Who can get the most views? Who can see like they're the most knowledgeable Israelite in the world? That's what's going on. It's like a competition. It's everything is in vain. There's no point to it, because at the end of the day, you're not going to gain nothing from it, because Israel is going to believe what they want to believe. So read that, Sirach 19 verse 6. We're debating with a bunch of people that already know the truth. That already know who they are. That don't make sense. So Sirach 19 and 6.
He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife.
Read that one more time.
He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife.
That's why it's very, very important to watch what come out your mouth. You have to be able to control your mouth. People are just so quick to just... Read that one more time, Mark.
He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife.
Go ahead.
And he that hateth babbling shall have less evil.
You see that? He that hateth babbling shall have less evil. And people wonder why they're being punished. People wonder why they're going through so much. You run your mouth and you think you're being chastised. No, you're being punished. You're not. Don't try to run the Hebrews. You see, I'm one of God's son. I'm being chastised. No, don't confuse being chastised to judgment. There's a difference. The Lord will chastise you. You will go through trials and tribulations, but being punished, that's judgment. That's for your wickedness. So give me one more. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 3. Then we go back to 2 Samuel. Everybody's goal should be trying to get the kingdom. That's everybody's goal should be. Not who can get the famous can. That's what people's goal is. Who can have the most views? Who can be the famous? Who can be this? Who can be that? The Lord's not looking for that. Because just because you're praised here on this earth, the earth to come, doesn't mean you're going to be praised. Doesn't mean you're going to be lifted up high. So you got to prove yourself not to man, not to people on the earth, but to the Heavenly Father. So give me 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 3 out. Because people are claiming to be spiritual and being very carnal-minded. So read that, brother.
For ye are yet carnal.
For ye are yet carnal. You are caught up in the flesh. Go ahead.
For whereas there is among you envying
So when you see people that's envious, go ahead.
and strife
And people that's full of strife, go ahead.
and division,
And people that's always trying to cause division, go ahead.
are ye not carnal and walk as men?
Are ye not carnal and walk as men? That's what's going on. You are being carnal minded. You are not being spiritual. Because a spiritual man, a person that's following the fruit of the Spirit, is not going to carry himself full of strife, envious, and debating and division. They're not going to be full of that. If you don't agree with a brother or a sister, let it be. You don't have to go crazy and lose your mind because a person believes something different. So be it. As long as they're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, that's the most important thing. So go back to 2 Samuel chapter 19. People are taking things that's not going to that's not going to make no difference in the to making it to the kingdom, to like it's a big deal. Oh, brother, you don't believe this, you're not going to make it to the kingdom. There's no scripture that says that. There's a scripture that says keep the commandments and have faith.
God.
The whole duty of man is to keep the commandments, to fear God and keep his commandments. So read 2 Samuel. You need something?
No, I'll get it later.
2 Samuel chapter 19, verse 10. So Israel, stop that division. Stop that strife, that envious. That's the point I'm trying to make. For you brothers and sisters can't stop it, delete your Facebook. It's probably the best thing to do. Delete your Facebook. You might save your soul. you might save your soul by doing that. It might bring more good than anything if you can't stop having that debating spirit or that envious and that strife and division. Delete your Facebook, because who you gonna be able to debate with then? Who you gonna be able to cause division with? Nobody. That person might be in the mirror talking to himself like, yeah, I can cut them. Trying to debate himself. But read that. Come on, 2 Samuel chapter 19, verse 10. Read that, brother. We're debating himself in the mirror. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And Absalom, who we anointed over us, is dead in battle.
Uh-huh.
Now therefore, why ye not a word? Why speak not ye not a word of bringing the king back?
So this is really, when it's talking about Israel and verse 9, the tribes of Israel, that was referring to the northern kingdom. Because what we about to read is how the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom beef started before King Solomon. That whole, the split just happened after King Solomon died. But this beef was going on right here. And we're going to find out as we read along, the northern tribes and the southern tribes was at war with each other, had strife and division amongst each other. So read verse 10 again.
And Absalom, who we anointed over us, is dead in battle.
Uh-huh.
Now therefore, why speak ye not a word bringing the king back?
So now the northern kingdom, the northern tribes is talking about like, man, Absalom's dead, so forth and so on. We should start talking about, they're pretty much thinking like, man, we should bring the king back, King David back, right? Go ahead.
And King David sent to Zadok and to Abiathar the priest saying, speaking to the elders of Judah, saying.
So now he's referring to the southern kingdom now. Go ahead.
Why are ye the last to bring the king back to his house?
Why are you the last person? You are the same tribe as me. Why are you the last people talking about bringing me back? Go ahead.
Saying the speech of all Israel is come to the king, even to his house.
The whole northern kingdom is talking about bringing me back as a king, and you are the tribe of Judah. You the elders of Judah, and I'm of your same tribe, and you not even talk about bringing me back as a king. What's going on? Pretty much he's saying. Go ahead.
Ye are not my brethren.
He said what?
Ye are my brethren.
He said, you are my brethren. Go ahead.
Ye are my bones and my flesh. Wherefore then are ye the last to bring back the king?
So ye are my brethren. He's like, man, you are my brethren. You are the same tribe. Judah, everybody like to claim Judah, this and this and that. But he's like, you are my brother. You are my bone and my flesh. You closest kin to any of everybody else. You're the closest to me because you're the same tribe, the same lineage through Judah. Go ahead.
And say ye to Amasa, art thou not of my bone and of my flesh? God do so to me, and more also, if thou be not captain of the host before me, continually in the room of Joab.
So give me 2 Samuel chapter 17, verse 25. Do you believe in the chart? I believe somewhat in the chart. I do believe blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are Israelites. That is, I mean, that's just common sense to me. But do I believe 100% that the chart is accurate? No. Judah is not just in America. You know, Benjamin is not just in the West Indies. You know, we'll talk about that after class if we have time. But I don't believe 100% in that chart. No. Because after doing history and actually going to the Caribbean and different places and knowing history and talking to elders and different things, no, that chart, there's no way that Benjamin is the people in the West Indies. And because they will rave like a wolf. That makes no sense. You know, would I say is there Benjamites in the Caribbean? Yes. There's Benjamites in the Caribbean. There's Judites in the Caribbean as well. Mm-hmm. There's also Levites in the Caribbean. There's also, I was just in Grenada. There's Cubans down in Grenada. You know, there's other tribes that's there. We all mingled up. Only thing I go by is Romans 8, about the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the sons and daughters of the Most High. Mm-hmm. That's all we can go by. Your spirit and the kingdom, nobody can 100% tell you what tribe you are from when in the ancient times we all have records. That's why we understand this person of this house, this person of this house. All the records are destroyed. So how can we 100% say you are of the house of Judah when all the records are destroyed? That's just common sense. You know, but if brothers and sisters that follow that chart, I don't knock them. I don't be like all of this and that. But yes, blacks, Hispanics, and Americans are Israelites. But Judah's not American blacks. Benjamin is not the Jamaicans. Levi is not the Haitians. That doesn't make sense to me. But continue, brother.
You said 17 and
2 Samuel chapter 17, verse 25.
And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son, whose name was Ithran, an Israelite, that went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister Zeruiah, Joab's mother.
So remind this, brothers and sisters, remember this. So Absalom made Amasa captain over the host of Israel instead of Joab. Joab was the captain of King David, but when Absalom came into power, he made Amasa, which is Joab's cousin, he made him the captain of the army. So just imagine you know, people that like to be, you know, have authority, a high seat, being a captain, and then overnight it's being taken away.